Keep guns off campus. Just because it's legal doesn't make it correct to bring one on. First, we need to talk about the myths of guns on campuses. How people believe that areas without guns are not as safe as areas with guns, which according to Webster et al. At Johns Hopkins Center for Gun Policy and Research, people are scared that areas where they can't have guns is where a mass shooter would strike. However, of a study of 111 mass shootings, 100 were in areas where civilians could carry a firearm, or where there was armed security or law enforcement. This goes to show how increasing areas where people have the right to carry a firearm has little or no effect in reducing the area's chance of a mass shooting, showing how firearms on campuses has no reason behind it. Secondly, it's a common belief that gun owners can stop a mass shooter in his tracks. This is an understandable thought, but in practice, it doesn't work so well. In high-stress situations, even trained police officers have difficulty landing accurate shots on targets. So there's no reason to believe that anyone, student or staff at a college, could accurately land a shot, since they have only had minimal training to get a permit to carry a weapon. A correlation is formed when evidence was found that in areas with right to carry laws have seen no reduction in mass shootings or number of victims shot in said shootings. This again is evidence that guns don't help on campuses and so have no purpose being there. In addition, college-age students face a lot of stressors that can almost easily lead to mental illnesses, according to Webster et al. They say that stressors such as moving away from home, supporting oneself for the first time, taking challenging classes, and trying to establish oneself socially can turn into depression or other mental illnesses. This is due to the emotional labor of the tasks. And the college-age mind is also developing and changing. These changes lead to high-risk behaviors and below-average judgment and self-control. Piling on this is a study done by Miller, Hemingway, and Weschler at the Harvard School of Public Health. They found that gun owners are more likely to be white men who drink in excess and get in trouble with the law, getting DUIs and destroying property while intoxicated. They're also more likely to get into fights that require medical attention afterwards. In the end, their behavior is a risk to themselves and others. All of this, alcohol, depression, and other mental illnesses, the stress of college, and the developing mind, can and do lead to violence or suicide. Access to a firearm has shown to increase suicide risks, according to Webster et al., and that among men, a firearm is the #1 cause of a successful suicide, and #3 among women. Firearms also succeed more at completing suicides than any other attempted form. As for how guns are used on campuses, Webster et al. Studied 85 discharges on college campuses, and of those 85, 38 were personal disputes that led to gun violence, 10 were premeditated acts of violence, 25 were unidentified, 10 were murder-suicides, and only 2 were mass shootings. This shows something that people need to keep in mind about guns on campus. Mass shootings are rare, and violence and suicide are far more common and much more likely to happen when firearms are nearby. Keep guns off campus to save yourself and your friends. Just because it's legal to bring it on campus does not make it the right thing to do.